The remainder of the flight passes without incident. And it is as you are coming in on the third day, you look down and you start to see the terrain below you change dramatically. The seemingly endless rolling sand dunes that make up the Greater Uzora Desert begin to decrease in height, and before long you start seeing less of just mounds of sand and more dustings of sand across dirt that is gradually starting to liven up with patches of green, little clusters of palm trees and shrubbery, and most eye-catching of all, the closer and closer you get to Piera Oasis, you're starting to see these clusters of blue crystal jutting up from the ground. And the shrubbery, the foliage that you're seeing, the trees and the bushes and the grass that's starting to become more and more frequent and lush, are all clustered around these crystalline growths. It's quite impressive. And as you're flying in the air over the lake of Piera Oasis itself, this enormous body of incredibly rich and healthy, deep blue water, you see in the center of the lake as you're flying over it, this large, well, not super large, but you spot an island in the very center, from the top of which is this practical monolithic obelisk of that same blue crystal just rising up.
So, anybody got a feeling that's where the crystal is?
It's a little more obvious than previous ones.
Give me a moment.
I'll see what Sid says.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that obvious.
Well, either way. Eventually, the city of Piera Oasis itself comes into view. And it is definitely something. As you're coming in, you see this large city made predominantly out of sandstone with these little engravings of that same blue crystal etched into the trimmings, built up upon the banks of the lakeside. The city comes up into three noticeable leveled tiers, like the steps of a staircase, not unlike what you saw with the residential districts back in Endlem quite some time ago. You see a small smattering of wood-based ships, more like wide barges on the water's edge. You see plenty of buildings that stretch over the water itself. And you see a tall stone wall erected around the city, one that is marked in several places by damage or have been clearly damaged and then repaired with slightly different designed sensibilities, leaving these eroded scars and marks in the masonry. Along the middle tier, where you can see, even from up here, a bustling series of marketplaces and, merchant strips, you can see a series of airship towers that stand tall and proud, each one boasting a surprising number of airships. There's a lot of traffic in the air above this city that you're seeing, coming and going, mostly in a northerly direction, seeing as there's not really anything else in any other direction. As you're bringing the Little Wing in, you see a very small, you would assume one-person airship flying in to sort of move up parallel and take up a position next to the Little Wing. And you recognize it as a tugboat, essentially, the purpose being to guide you into one of the docking platforms.
He's bringing it in.
Right. You'll follow the tugboat down, and it doesn't take you very long before you find a empty docking point, already extended, And you can, in fact, see some familiar faces on it. You can see Sid and Nabat.
Oh, goody.
Though there is no
Nabat.
sign of Elizabeth.
Alrighty then. Rain on in, Neith.
Let's get this thing repaired up. Consider it my gift.
You bring the little wing in and get it clamped on. Takes a few minutes for final checks to be made, but once that's done, you lower the ramp and you are ready to disembark whenever.
Do so.
All right. So you step down the ramp, and immediately Sid is just stomping up to you with this horrified look on his face. What did you do to it?
It wasn't us, it was the fiend.
He just gestures vaguely at the little wing, making this sort of almost jazz hands-like gesture, like, but,
Think of it this way. The Little Wing is a military vessel. It was engaged in military activities. It happens.
And if it eases your worries, Nee was a very skilled pilot. She tried her best.
I would just really like it if it didn't have a hole in it. It bothers me.
Just a
She avoided as best as possible, and if she didn't, there'd be less of the ship here. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, this thing was the size of it, if not bigger.
I mean, I get that. I understand. That doesn't make it less distressing to see such a beautiful airship damaged like this. Ah!
I know, it's my airship. Fix it.
no, come on. A little elbow grease and some buff, and should be good as new, right?
Thanatos, you're not helping.
It is not nearly that simple. I'm gonna need to find a metal alloy that matches up with the same type as the ship to keep it consistent so that the ship doesn't become lopsided with its weight. I'm gonna need to find the right parts if there are any damaged components. It's about this time Nabat is coming up behind him and just smacks him on the back of the head. Get a grip. You're an engineer, not a toddler.
If it helps, consider it my birthday gift.
You're... what?
What?
Thanatos, if Emma's birthday was a week ago today,
Mika gives you a hug.
yeah, makes me 22. 28? 2 lives are weird. Let's just leave it at 22.
Yeah, it's
That bi-
probably easier.
That biological clock's a ticking.
Not as quick as yours. I am biologically an elf, you know.
So, doesn't really matter, I guess. You got what, another 100 years on you or something?
128, give or take. Besides, I would appreciate you not talking about my death via old age on my birthday, Thanatos.
Hey.
Yes. Yes. Besides, I suppose the ship getting fixed up is the biggest importance.
No, finding the crystal is the biggest importance.
And that's Nabat.
Yes, speaking of crystal, any progress on that?
We've been trying, but progress on that front has been remarkably slow. Seems like everyone knows that the crystal is somewhere in this region, but no one knows exactly where. Or if they do know, they are not keen to share.
Well, the crystals are supposed to be hidden, so I'm guessing they wouldn't just outright tell a random person to show up, hey, where's the crystal?
Any information you happen to glean? Any particular figures of authority that might be in the know?
Nabat sort of walks over to the edge of the dock, crosses her arms, and nods down towards the streets.
Pure Oasis is a city-state. It's utterly disconnected from all of the other major nations on the continent. It's run by a mayor, And he has a small council of 4 advisors who oversee different parts of the city and its various operations. There's a war master, a trade master, a water master, and a street master. We've spoken with all of them, and while some are more forthcoming and friendly than others, none have been particularly helpful in the hunt for the crystal. Either they
Not
say
even the
they know
mayor?
nothing, or they say nothing at all.
Not even the mayor?
Not even the mayor.
Oh,
Hmm.
great.
With your interactions with them and their general dispositions, do you consider them trustworthy? Were we to confide in them?
Maybe. Hard to tell. The one I would be the most careful with is the War Master. He's this...
What's the...
Skarngor's his name. He's constantly just staring.
Great. Another creepy silent type.
Which one would you suggest we start with then?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm thinking you'd be better off not wasting your time with them. We haven't made any luck.
Maybe if they do know anything and they saw our packages, they might be more inclined to share. Most of the powers that be have been inclined to help us when they know their God's will. The only example of someone not doing that so far was Begammon, the Bonga leader from the tribe we just came from. He was a bit more intense.
He was an asshole.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Hmm.
Still, if not them, any other suggestions?
Debot glances off towards the huge-ass obelisk in the middle of the lake.
Honestly, I'd be inclined to start searching around that. It's the largest landmark for miles around, and it's technically illegal to go to that island unsupervised.
Well,
Why?
I guess we're visiting the mayor after all.
The stated reason for why it's illegal is because it's dangerous. There are creatures who inhabit the island and the waters immediately surrounding it. Mist dragons. Strange manifestations of magic that come from these crystals themselves. They're hostile if you draw too close to their territory, so the mayor outlawed venturing too close to the Blue Tombstone, as it's called, on the grounds that any vessel getting too close has a bad habit of being torn to shreds.
All noted. Thanks for that.
That's,
odd.
That said, said Cuts-In, it hasn't stopped plenty of individuals from sailing over there anyway, and without much of a navy, there's not really a whole lot the Oasis can do once someone sets out to go there. A lot of the people who've gone there have simply been treasure hunters. There's a lot of stories and legends about the place, stuff in the same general vein as pirates burying their haul in isolated locations. Or, people just wanting to get their hands on the crystals. These blue things are pretty damn valuable.
that they are.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, going by sea to the thing probably wouldn't be a very good idea.
Well, we happen to have an airship.
Which is currently in repairs need.
Exactly. So while we might as well hit up the mayor's office anyway. See if we can't squeeze something.
Yeah. As much as I like your ship, it needs time to be prepared.
Besides, we need resupply after spending our time in the desert. They didn't exactly accept Gil.
Indeed.
All
I'm
right.
running out of potions again.
Also, now that I'm thinking about it, where is Elizabeth?
She's out in the streets, listening in to passerby, just people watching and eavesdropping, seeing if she can pick up any interesting clues or hints about weird goings-on. That sort of stuff usually leads to trouble, and trouble these days tends to lead to what we're looking for, I've noticed.
And then it usually leads to us.
Yeah, kinda. So that's more or less what she's doing, just seeing if there's any strange activity going on as of late. She wasn't exactly keen on being here to meet up with you guys, so she just decided to make herself useful in other ways.
On here, I thought she was starting to warm up to us.
I wouldn't give you hope, so.
I'd say
Yeah.
she's tolerant. Warming up might be a bit of a stretch.
I don't like
Ah.
you.
She gives you a sideways glance.
Look, can we keep this professional?
Of course.
You want to?
Alright, well,
She then reaches down into a little pouch she's got hanging on her hip and withdraws a smaller little sack and tosses it at you, Thanatos.
He catches it.
You catch it, and whatever the contents are, it's multiple small pieces that you can feel, and they are hard and sort of clatter around a bit.
And what is this?
Something that will be invaluably useful here. Keep them on your persons.
Okay. Can I look in the pouch and see what it is?
You're pulling the pouch open, you look inside, and you see a few... It's a collection of those blue crystals you saw around that are maybe about 2 to 3 fingers in width and a few inches long. There's one for each member of the party.
what's the deal with those?
Just pull one out. You'll see.
Okay.
Shrugs and grabs one.
All right,
In
you,
the bag.
all right, you guys pull a couple of them out, and you immediately notice that they are wet to the touch and dripping.
Okay. Any particular use these things have other than making my hand wet?
Yes. Drinking water. This may be an oasis, but we are still in the middle of a desert. Keep yourselves hydrated. Those will cover that.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's
I
the
take it.
property of these crystals all around. It's why the region is so lush despite having no rivers flowing through it. These crystals just emit water all the time.
Because, well,
Well,
why?
most likely because of Leviathan's crystal.
Probably. That said, don't break down or eat these crystals. They're kind of brittle, so try not to get any pieces of them in your system, because those are the minerals that are used in the alcoholic water.
oh. Right, it comes from here, doesn't it?
Yep.
Huh.
So if you need a drink, just put it to your lips and suck on it. Don't, bite or anything. No teeth.
Splendid.
Definitely
After you've
noted.
repaired the little wing, what do you intend to do?
Honestly, that's probably going to take up all my time here. I don't know what I'm doing after that. Guess it depends on how things go with you and the crystal.
Well, this is a light crystal, so hopefully it won't have the weird space warping shit.
My mother and sisters are already dealing with Eno Watch of securing that place. So once you're ready to go, the next likely destination for you, I imagine, would be the Glacian Islands to the north. Trying to find where those are.
I was under the impression we already had someone on that, didn't we?
No, that's the Eno Watch Mountains. My mother and sisters said.
No. I think she means, didn't we have the
Did we?
scholars of Enomo looking into Shiva's island?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
already had the Shiva's Islands being covered by the Academy City.
Well,
Because-
after
because-
we're done here, you can either head back. You can either head back to Enlem or head over to Anomo, whichever
If
you
you can
choose.
get to Anoma, whatever research they've propped up, you might be able to find the island itself before we ever arrive.
I'll look into it, I suppose, but first, airship and water crystal.
Besides, it would help, considering after the Inawatch Mountains and the island, after that, we're going to the Hellfire Pit. I'm not sure how well your ship would deal with a volcano.
It probably wouldn't, frankly. The Stargazer's good, but she has her limits.
So yes, after Shiva's dealt with, we'll probably have to head over to the Hellfire Pit on our own.
Alright, well, we'll head down, get some resupply, potions and the likes, and then see about this mare, if they can know anything. Keep us informed what happens with the Little Wing.
Will do. All right. And so with that, the group sort of starts to scatter and disseminate a little bit. So where are you guys headed?
Resupply first, because if I recall, we desperately need it.
Well,
Yeah,
you have
well,
31,963 gil to throw around, so...
Alright, well, first off, who still need a tier 4?
Okay, I need armor and I think both of Kyra's whip is tier 3, so
Kyra's also a temporary party member, so
that is true. Okay, let's take care of us first. So yeah, I need tier 4 armor.
Mika is still rocking a tier 3 weapon.
I believe I'm all tiered up.
I am, aside from my secondary weapon, so let's get Mika her new book, Phantom's armor, and then see what our military situation is like.
Alright, let's see here. I need equipment. Okay, so tier 4 weapon is
8,500 gil.
and tier 4 armor is 5,400. So, okay, one of us needs armor. Mika needs a new weapon, and you need to upgrade Storm.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a calculator? Because mine's...
I have a calculator app that I have open.
Okay, so 5,400 plus 17,000.
That amounts to 22,400 gil.
That's for
Oh.
all of our tier 4 stuff.
That's one armor and 2 weapons.
Alright, which leaves us with, what was that, 9,000 gil?
Give me a second. Yeah, you'll have 9,563 left after that.
Which we can use on consumables.
Indeed.
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 All right, so we do
I
that.
also think I'm going to go ahead and, now that I'm probably going to sell Bloodletter, since it's now a lower tier.
Okay, what tier was it?
3. Actually,
was-
no, 3 or 2. It was tier 2, I think.
All right, then you'll get 350 gil back for that.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and
Okay.
put the communal gil at 9,913.
Alright.
Okay.
I also have my old tier 3 flight suit, so...
Yeah, I can sell my old armor too. So that's half
I don't
of
think I
what they're
sold
cost.
my old armor.
Yeah, it could sell my old armor plus my old storm dagger as well.
Okay, so that's half of what they would normally cost for reselling, right?
That's what I just did, yeah.
So
I have another dagger, which is tier 3, and a tier 3 armor.
okay, so 2 tier 3 armors comes up to 1,500, and then a tier 3 weapon would be 1,200. So that's 2,700 back. And did Alistair want to sell his little armor too?
Such a smeghead. I had my old armor and old shield I haven't sold.
Mika
And
will
old
se-
stuff
Mi-
because
when
of
Mika
the new
upgrades her sword, she'll sell her old one, so...
Okay,
So that's 3 things I haven't sold.
Yeah.
Okay, so armor, shield, and what else for Alistair?
Staff. I sold
Right.
the oldest one, but there was another one I had that I haven't sold, which I had
Okay.
for a while.
Okay, so that's another tier 3 armor. Actually, 2. If that shields count as armor too, don't they?
Shields
actually,
count
it
as
was a
shields.
3.
Okay. Okay, now tier 3 shield would be 550, so that's
Just to point out, the staff was 2, and the shield and armor were 3, because I kept up to date with my armor, but skipped out on the weapon last time.
Yeah, because your weapon was useful. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, upgrading your weapon doesn't do really good other than giving it extra properties.
Yep. Which those properties are serving us well now.
Just not every
Right.
tier gives property, so you skipped one.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we won't get an extra property until tier 7.
Yeah. So it's just a
So-
tier 3 shield, tier 3 armor, and a tier 2 staff.
Okay, so the shield will be 275 back to us. The armor for Alasir is another 750. And then on tier 2 staff is 350.
All right, and on top of all the other stuff,
And what else were we selling?
Mika is going to sell her old tier 3 sword when she gets her new one just now.
Okay, so that's another 1200. And then you were selling the older version of Storm, right?
Yeah.
So that's another 1200.
Nice.
And what were all of the previous numbers we discussed before that?
Okay, so
I mean, just do you have a total of how much gear we get?
okay, well, okay, how much do you have right now?
Right now, before selling anything, the group is sitting at 9,913.
I mean, okay, hold on.
I feel like someone
We
wasn't
get-
keeping track.
Yeah, probably. Okay, one at a time. Let's just go one at a time for each person and what they're selling. And I'll make a
okay.
list.
Okay,
So-
I got my calculator. Okay, so as is, okay, so
So, Hades, what are you selling?
tier 3 armor.
All right. Tom, what are you selling?
You already noted the tier 2 weapon, didn't you?
I am now. Everything else, just list everything for me. I'm just putting it all into one big list.
So yeah, it was that tier 2 weapon, tier 3 armor, tier 3 weapon.
All right. So far we got tier 3 armor times 2, tier 2 weapon, tier 3 weapon. Alasir.
Alasir's was
a
tier
2-tier staff, 3-tiered armor, and a 3-tier shield. And those 2 items have 4 to 5. That makes any difference.
It doesn't. Okay. And Mika is selling her old tier 3 weapon, so it's 3 times tier 3 weapons. So I believe that this right here that I'm about to plop down in the Roll20 chat is the full list of shit we're selling.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can calculate the price from that.
Okay, so 2 tier 3 armors comes up to
2 tier 3 armors would be 1,500 because it's just
2 tier 3. Okay, 2 tier 2 weapons will be 700.
okay.
3 tier 3 weapons is
3,600.
3,600. And then a tier 3 shield is 275.
So in total, the party will get 6,075 gil out of selling all of that.
Neat. So up to 15,000. Alright.
Neat.
So
Moving on
15,988.
So moving on to consumables. I have a phoenix down. I would like 2 normal potions and a high potion to replenish my stock. So,
All right, 2 normal potions and a high potion. That'll be 240 gil.
yep.
Okay, I will also take a high potion and a high ether.
That'll be 400 gil. Alasir?
How much have we spent so far?
Well, after all that, you'll still have 15,348 left.
Okay then. Let's see then.
Do you need a phoenix
I
down?
need high
Alistair?
potions and I need some high ethers. So how much do they come to?
High potions cost 200 gil. High ethers cost 200 gil.
Okay, so both the same price. And a Phoenix down. How much would that
600.
cost? Okay, just doing some maths in my head.
So yeah, Phoenix down is 600, and I guess 2 of each of those potions.
Well, since the last scrape was a bit hefty, probably put 3 each for safety and a Phoenix down.
Okay, so 600, 600, 600, 1800.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I could offer else to it is the ethers. I mean, how much is a normal ether?
I mean, you have plenty of those, and you didn't pick up like a whole bunch
I
of
was
them.
down to 2, remember?
Well, yeah, but do remember your alchemy perk turns them basically into high ethers.
Yeah.
So I think you've got plenty of ethers and shit now. Of course, ethers are only like what, 40 gil?
Yeah, regular ethers
Well,
are
is
only
it-
20 gil.
So yeah, if you want to like buy another,
Yeah, it's just gonna get 3 more of them.
yeah, go ahead, do 3 more of them. That's 120. That's like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Meek,
You are a lifesaver on Gil when it comes to that alchemy perk.
Thank you.
Mika would like to.
Kyra,
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom first.
I was just asking what Kyra had.
Well, I mean, we'll get to Kyra as soon as Mika's done.
Mika wants to buy a remedy.
Oh.
A remedy?
Yep.
What do those do again?
They remove all negative status effects, but they're fucking expensive.
How much?
8,000 gil.
Okay. Maybe then retract 2.
No, it's fine. We have plenty of gil we've been saving for this because we need a big resupply. It'll be good for a while.
Okay.
Get this gil
Okay.
back pretty-
I was gonna say just take away 1 of each potion of the highs, but alright.
It's no, just keep it. It's fine. Gil's full. We're not in it to get rich. We're in it to save the world.
That is true. So,
True. It's just though if we need any top ups along the way.
well, let's
Well,
see.
it's better to get top up now than need it later.
That is true. Also, yeah, let's just see how much we have left after all that.
Well, after that, there's 5,488 gil left to throw around.
Does Mika have a Phoenix down?
She does. 1.
Since she is our medic, can we give her a second?
If you
But
want to
before
shell
that,
out the
there's
gil for
still
them.
Kaya.
Well, again, Kyra's temporary, so we'll get to her in a second.
Okay, sure, yeah. If Mika wants to get a second Phoenix 10, you guys can get her one. All right.
Yeah, just since she's like the medic of the group.
Medic. Well,
Alright,
medics,
that is-
that's heavy damage.
I don't think Doc is gonna stick. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it'll stick.
Okay.
Anyway, Kyra.
Okay,
she
so with
4,888 gil left to spend.
okay, Kyra has a high potion, so let's say 1 more high potion and a high ether, just so she can pass along.
And her own Phoenix down, because we want everyone to have at least one.
Oh yeah, and a
Okay.
Phoenix down, so that'll be 1,000.
So 3,888 gil left.
So we're not broke.
Oh, could you retract 1 of the high ethers because I still had a high ether left apparently.
Okay, so just give us 200 back.
So 4,088.
There you go.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping I had enough left to get Kyra at least some new armor, but she is temporary, so
Yeah, we have this location, 2 others, and then Rocket will be entering the scene.
yeah, maybe if we get a big gil count from this next crystal, we can
Oh, we'll be
get her some
heading to
armor.
Vitae after this, so if we don't need a massive resupply, maybe we can grab something.
I mean, I'm stocked. I got 5 ethers, 5 regular potions, 3 high potions, 3 high
Okay.
ethers, and 1 Phoenix down. So I think we'll be good.
You know, again, say that how much Alistair's going to save us on gil, because regular potions are only 40 gil, and they work as high potions for him.
Mm-hmm.
They're even cheaper
So-
than that because they're only 20 gil.
They're only 20? I thought they were 40.
Regular potions are only 20 gil?
What about ethers?
Same.
Okay, I thought they were more. Okay,
Nope.
never mind.
We are stocked for the time being. Let's head to the mayor's office, I guess, after this.
And I just gotta update my tier 4 armor. I'll pick a property when we're done.
It's a shame we all can't have alchemists, because there's a great frickin'.
I mean, it kind of makes more sense for you.
Hmm.
Now, also, tier 4 armor, heavy armor, gives me 35 armor and 15 magic armor. Good. Oh, alrighty, that'll work.
Hmm.
All right, now I'll decide a property for Mika's new weapon later.
Yeah, we can do properties. We can do properties and the such laters.
All right, so you all spend a few hours doing your shopping. It's not a quick process. It takes you a little bit to sort of find your way around and get all the things and get fitted and sell the shit you want to sell. But eventually you have all the things you need, and you start to make your way through the streets, and you're immediately struck by how small you all feel. Because this city is inhabited by almost nothing but Galka.
Alka?
Galka, the tall, thick,
Rogadin.
burly, those guys.
The Admiral.
Okay.
The city is
Boulder.
the city is inhabited almost entirely by those folk. Tall, burly, wide, muscly, going about their day, laughing loudly, doing their things. It is a very, very boisterous atmosphere you're getting, in stark contrast to the more tense and subtle, almost conspiratorial atmosphere of the of Haunted Banga. This place carries a more unified camaraderie, as opposed to the rivalry present throughout the Bongan clans.
All right.
You can. There's
Did we see Elizabeth?
Go ahead and make an awareness check.
Oh,
You do not see any sign of Elizabeth where you currently are at.
neat.
All right. So you ask around a little bit, I'm assuming, to find your way. And it doesn't take you long to get pointed in the direction of the government building, the sort of mayoral office structure, the sort of slightly larger, not really a castle or anything, but just a bigger, nicer, and relatively well-fortified building in the upper layer, which you are told, if you will give me a second to refer to my notes, because I have like multiple paragraphs of notes on this city. The uppermost layer is known as the Reefs, you are told, as you're making your way up. The city is, as I mentioned, divided into 3 layers, which you soon discern are the lowest one, hugging the water side, are called the Fins. The second layer is the Gills, and the third layer is the Reefs.
Do you think they worship Leviathan here?
It's a possibility.
If nothing else, they like fish. Which you definitely get that impression because not only does the air definitely smell of briny salt water, but as you're going, you can also see, like as you're making your way through the Gills, a lot of the market stalls are selling food, and the bulk of it is fish. It's just almost entirely different types of fish that you gather from the shouting of the merchants. It's all localized. It's all locally caught. It's just the preparations and the particular breeds of fish that are different.
Ugh.
That said, as you're about to make your way up into the reefs, Mika starts sniffing at the air a little bit.
Yikes.
Is that?
She looks off to one side.
Holy shit, it is!
What?
What's that?
She points.
Geisho greens.
You know, the weirdest thing of all, I was thinking on Rocket because I'm missing a pun that she would definitely take the opportunity on. And now Hasher Greens have definitely reminded me of her even more.
Well,
You look over and
Is
you
that
can
the-
see a colorful little market stand with a Galka in it, shouting out loudly about fresh geisha greens plucked fresh this morning. Come get yours. Your birds will love them.
if only she were here. She could have gorged herself.
Probably.
Gonna have Mika roll a lore check. Real quick. And +8 because holy crap. She's looking around at a couple of stalls that have geisha grains on, so she's like,
Yeah, I remember now. Pure Oasis is like some of the most high-quality geisha greens around. Surprisingly. They just grow really well around here.
Well, if the water in the dirt is particularly, I don't know, clean, fresh, however you want to put it, and if it's coming from Leviathan's crystal of light, you would expect it to be, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, just follow the water. Fortunately, there's lots of it.
Indeed.
Speaking of, if we're going to be revealing our purpose here to this mayor, maybe you should be the one to do the talking for this one.
I was already planning on it.
You are the bearer, and of all people, I think it should be you. You got this, Mika Solwyn.
Thanks.
and she leads the way some rest of the ways. You make your way up into the reefs, pick your way through the streets for a little bit before you come to the larger building I described earlier. And it is a 3-story affair, and the corners, edges, and trimmings all have sort of these rudimentary but very stylistic, blocky patterns made and etched in with more of this blue crystal, which is leading to this near perpetual waterfall fountain sort of effect running down the sides of the building. It's surprisingly soothing. It's led to a lot of moss and vines growing up the sides, and it's all been very strategically placed and well maintained. You can see it's framing the whole thing beautifully in green, contrasting sharply against the sandstone that makes up the bulk of the structure. There are a couple of well-armored Galkas standing out in front of the door, sort of hands behind their back, heads high, sort of official posture. You don't see any weapons on them, though, as they're standing there. You making the approach?
Uh-huh.
All right. So as the group approaches, one of the guards looks down and steps forward. Oh there, that's a lot of people. What you need?
We're here to make the acquaintance of the mayor or any of his advisors who might be available. It's a matter of some urgency.
Oh, another group, huh? He looks over at his friend. Do we want to let these ones in too?
I take it the other ones you... Sid and those with him.
I mean, I didn't ask their names, just... Trio of folk came in, wanted to talk to the mayor, said it was important, left looking kind of disappointed.
Wow. And that was the group.
Well, the mayor isn't currently accepting visitation at the moment. He's in the middle of some personal matters, but the street master has his office open, so you can speak with him.
If you can.
All right. He turns and nods at his friend, who shuffles off to one side, nods at the door. Just, don't cause a commotion or anything, all right?
We'll do our best.
All right. And then he nods. All right. Go on in. Behave yourselves. Stepping in through the front door, the front lobby is a spacious and homely, if simple, affair. You do see some more of these sort of naturally founded sort of blue water crystal fountains set up at the corners of the room, creating this gentle, trickling atmosphere. And it helps, and you can tell that it's keeping the temperature relatively cool and the air moist and humid instead of arid and dry. So it's a nice, refreshing change when you step in and get out of the hot desert air. After a couple of seconds, you look off to one side and you can see that there are a series of doors set up around the edge of the room. And at the very back end of the room, far side from where you are, there's a staircase heading up that is guarded by one of the Galka. Each of the 4 doors off to the left and right have name plaques over them along with titles. And looking at one of them, you see that it has the name. If you'll give me a second here to check my stuff. I only wrote this shit down last night. You see the name Cassard, Streetmaster, emblazoned on one of the plaques.
I guess this is the place. Knocks on the door.
You hear a voice from the other side. Come in.
Enter.
Yep, you push open the door, and it's a pretty sparse and simple office. There's a elaborate wooden desk in the middle of the room, and seated behind it, you see a tall, green-skinned Galka man dressed in rudimentary red clothes, kind of a... I mean, it's Cassard. I based him off the character from Shadowbringers and Final Fantasy XIV. That same general getup. He was the airship pilot for the Crystarium, if you'll recall. That guy.
Okay.
So, he looks up from whatever he's working on as you're ranting and raises his eyebrows. I don't believe I've met any of you before.
Apologies for the intervention. I'm Neothil. This is Vika Solwind, Thanatos, Alisa, Kyra. We understand you met with some friends of ours earlier. Sid Gaston, Labat.
I heard about them. I was not actually present for that meeting. That was handled by the mayor himself.
Well, we had been hoping to meet him, but we understand he's busy.
Yeah, influx of paperwork, trying to organize some parade or something for later in the year.
Well, he might be interested in this. Mika?
Mika steps forward and pulls out to present the crystal.
This is serious.
Cassard sits up upright in his seat on seeing the crystal. What is that?
What do you think it is?
Where did you... Oh gods, you were there, weren't you?
It was my home. I was there. Is the mayor going to see us or not?
Right. Cassard stands up. This is unexpected. I don't know how to handle it. Let's go crash this party, I guess. Shit. And he sort of strolls by out the door. Follow me.
And he kind of gives me a nod. Goes on.
Right.
She turns and follows after Cassard, and I'm assuming the rest of you follow suit?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright. The guard steps aside as Cassard leads you up the stairs, and before long, you come to another door set into the wall on the second floor that has the name of the mayor emblazoned on it. And I need to once again pull up my notes, because I don't have this shit memorized just yet. Sorry. It's here. Bakrin Sholnar is written onto the plaque. There's a... Cassard knocks on it before pushing it open. You Gomo visitors? Yeah, no, but... Look, they brought one of the crystals. Withdraws after a second and nods over at you. Alright, he'll see you.
One of the crystals, he says. He's gonna be in for shock.
Mika steps in without hesitation. Behind the counter, you can see an aging Galka with bluish skin. Has some pretty nice garbon colored in this sort of darkish blue. You know, sky versus ocean blue sort of colors mix in here. His graying hair is slicked back, and he is leaning forward with great interest in his seat as you all step in. Well, this is a surprise. I am Bakrin Shulnar. I am the mayor of this city. And you are?
Mika Solwyn. This is Neothil, Thanatos, Kyra, and Alistair.
All right. And what do you need?
In short, we need to get to the Water Crystal of Light. And I'm sorry, but I'm not taking no for an answer on this.
Direct little thing, aren't you?
It means a lot to me.
Fair enough. I'm told that you have one of the crystals in your possession already. Mika pulls it out again.
You could say that.
And then some. Pulls out her own.
Bakrin stares at you all for a minute, blinking. I was not expecting this when I got up this morning.
There are several in our possession.
And now you're after the Water Crystal of Light, are you? Well,
He looks at Mika.
I hate to break it to you all, but I'm going to have to tell you the same thing I told the last people who came knocking about this. I don't know where it is. I know it's somewhere in this region, but its exact location is not known to me.
Are
Be
you
that as
quite sure about that?
Yes? Why?
We need to get to that crystal as quickly as possible. Last time we were late in getting to one, it shattered and my home city went under the waves!
Mika sort of steps forward and puts a hand on the desk.
And if I can help it, I'm not gonna let that happen anywhere else. So if you know where that crystal is, God damn it, tell me!
Mika. Puts her hand on her shoulder.
Cassard takes a second. Again, I'm not lying to you. I don't know where it is. Leviathan may be the messenger, but she doesn't exactly talk to us very often.
How does she talk to you when she does? We've spoken to her before. She knows us.
When I say talks to us, I meant more like broad strokes in general, mortals, our general people, the population of Eno. Generally speaking, she just pops up out of the water where there's a big congregation of people that has who she wants to speak to. She delivers her message and fucks off back into the water. Doesn't usually stick around for prolonged chat, in my experience. Which is just stories and tales and legends.
There is that giant spire on the island that is forbidden.
Yeah, that place is dangerous. That's why it's off limits. Mist dragons. Dangerous little things.
You think, kind of gestures to her own crystal of wind, we haven't dealt with dragons.
I mean, at the end of the day, the crystal might be there. It might not. Who knows? There have been plenty of people who have gotten past the mist dragons and made it onto that island. None have come back talking about anything about the water crystal itself. Most just kind of spent a few weeks there fighting to keep the mist dragons off their backs while they were hunting for old pirate treasure or some other such jargon before getting fed up with the constant harassment and coming home. That or, being torn to shreds for their dismembered corpses and decaying carcasses to be found later by the next fool group trying to find buried trinkets.
We have something, though, that they don't.
And that is?
Ah, just as Mika. Crystal's chosen bearer. By Leviathan herself.
Really?
You don't think all the mist dragons and things that try to kill people on that island is maybe, I don't know, a defense mechanism?
I'm a politician, my friend. I'm the mayor of this town. I'm not necessarily versed on magic or biology. I'm not an ecologist.
All we're asking is for the rules of non-interference on the island to be made an exception. We don't want any trouble with your people, and any other assistance that you might be able to think of to provide. I need not say that, like Mika has expressed, the man who's after these crystals, who was at Marasu, he's a very dangerous person. And if he gets his way, your Oasis won't exist. Not anymore.
Make a negotiation check. Markrin mulls it over for a minute. Well, we say the island is off limits, but honestly, at this point, that's become more of a suggestion than a rule. It is ridiculously difficult to enforce. We don't exactly have a standing navy. There'd be no real point. There's no strategic value in boats on this lake. It's completely disconnected from any other body of water, so if someone wants to sail out there with their own little ship, there's precious little we can do to stop them. So, if you want to go out there, then go out there. Have a look. See what you find. You might find something no one else has. You have a crystal in your possession already. Maybe it opens something. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm not going to overextend to provide aid for people I've just met on a subject this serious. Especially given the, I mean no offense here, but he then turns to look at Mika, the emotional issues some of you seem to have.
My home city sunk. What were you expecting?
Exactly what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm concerned about lending aid.
And you don't think it would be best to lend us aid so your city doesn't end up the same way?
I'm just saying, people driven purely by rattled emotions tend to become reckless. Careless.
Hey, Mika was chosen for a reason.
I don't doubt
Besides,
that.
She's not alone.
I'm not doubting that. I mean, she showed me the crystal itself, for fuck's sake. But one of the very first things she did when she walked in here was raise her voice at me. Unprovoked. I mean no offense when I say that truly, but it does not necessarily inspire confidence. My concern, primarily, is my city. So I will be tending to that.
Well, we'll retrieve your crystal, and when we do, Sran will have no reason to attack you. And
Then
when
what?
the crisis is past, you can be assured that it will be returned, so there's no noticeable disruption in your water supply.
The water supply is not necessarily the biggest disruption we're worried about right now.
Oh,
All of this shit with the amber demons getting uppity is throwing a giant monkey wrench into trade. We're very
amber
isolated.
demons?
Well, yeah.
Okay, here, local.
Well, no, not locally immediately. There aren't any big clusters, so random small groups that are easily enough dealt with, but not necessarily here. Just in general, where the amber fields or the amber coasts, or where there are large, regions infested with the stuff, the demons have been getting a lot more uppity of late. I'm sure you've noticed that whole issue up in Vitea with the dragon,
I mean,
and then
yeah,
and the
we were there.
Marasu.
Yeah, we were there.
Oh, cool! You've been all over the fucking place. And then that issue with
I'm a
Marasu.
Vitaean ranger, points to the uniform.
I don't know what your uniforms look like. Point is, Piera Oasis is largely dependent, given its isolated location, on trade with foreign powers for how much it thrives. We offer these enchanted crystals and a lot of really rare and exotic produce. Our geisha greens are the best in the world. Water, I'm sure you've heard of that, capital W.
Yes, so we have some experience.
Yes, we had.
Had some, have you? Wonderful.
Stayed awake as well, second time.
I don't believe you, but as it is, with the demons getting as uppity as they have been lately, travel, especially with merchants with a lot to lose, has been lessening of late.
Wow.
Pilots and merchants afraid of their cargo, and people being ransacked by angry hordes of twisted mutants. So, trade has been decreasing, and I am having to juggle all of the problems surrounding that.
Well, the reason I drew particular concern for the Amber Demons is because this man that's hunting these crystals behind Marasu and everything else, he's the one been spurring them on, so to speak.
Well,
It's related.
Speaking of these demons, has there been any large ones coming around here, or any new creature poking around in the lake?
Or perhaps a man in a blue cloak. It's
Not
not acting suspicious, noticeable.
not that I've seen, not that I've heard of. If there was something weird enough going on that would be of concern to the citizenry, I would have heard about it. Cassard wouldn't have let me not.
Assard?
Yeah, it's the street master here. He takes care of, he's the representative of the general population. He's the everyman. He deals with just the general civilians. Watermaster, Kalanthor deals with the waters and the docks and the fisheries and the hatcheries and all those things. Zalero, he's our trade master. He deals with foreign trade for the most part. Skongor, he's our war master. Any of these people, probably all of them, if something were becoming a noticeable concern, would have brought it to my attention. They're nothing if not diligent.
Oh, that's a good sign. One more question. The oasis itself, does the water flow from that spot at the island?
All of the crystals that grow like that one just emit a constant stream of fresh water. It's pretty much how the city survives, honestly. If it weren't for those crystals, there wouldn't be an oasis here.
I know, but I mean, is there a primary source or like a direction the majority of the lake seems to flow?
Not so far as I can tell. I mean, it does seem to be the case, if I were to crack a guess, that the lake formed from water flow from the tombstone. So that's what we
More
call
reason
them.
to check it out. Alright. Well, we'll endeavor not to cause too much trouble for you, Mr. Mayor.
You do your part in all of this craziness, and I'll do mine. I'll take care of my city, and if what you've shown me is any indication, you'll make sure that my city isn't in danger in the long run. That is what you're trying to do, yes? Put an end to the threat?
Yeah. That's the idea.
Then I won't stand in your way. but I don't have the resources to spur you on it either, so you're gonna have to rely on your own resources for this. I wish you luck all the same, though.
Let's head back to the little wing. We can bunk up for the night. Sid completes his repairs. In the morning, we'll depart.
Right.
Mika turns and steps out.
And we're off.
So you guys are heading back to the Little Wing then?
Yes.
All right.
So, that guy was useless.
Well, it was worth a shot. Still, at least we have their permission to go out there, so we're not going to cause any issues there.
All of the crystals we've seen so far have had some kind of following to guard them. And yet, this place, this central hub of trade, where practically, I guess all those crystals owe their water, whatever, to the light crystal, and yet nobody knows anything about it.
Well, you know, massive spire island surrounded by mist dragons that always ward off visitors. You are right, it does seem rather conspicuous.
So either that guy is just dumb and doesn't know anything, or one of his council is hiding something.
Doesn't matter either way. In the morning we'll depart, and with Mika to guide us, we'll find it soon. Speaking of, you alright?
I'm alright.
Sure? He wasn't wrong back there. You did raise your voice.
I'm sorry, I just don't want to see it happen again.
It won't. What do we have something to say about it? Besides,
She reaches down and pulls out her crystal to look at it.
Last time we were basically powerless to do anything in that situation except make sure some people didn't die.
last time we barely knew what was up. We didn't know about Alice's parasite. Didn't know they were being hunted actively. A lot's changed since then.
I know, but just roadblocks, things getting in the way, slowing us down. It's I just want to keep this safe. I just want to do everything I can, and if people are getting in the way of that, then just... It makes me feel powerless, and it's just like it was back in the city.
Nika Solwyn, you are anything if but powerless. And we're all here. Remember, you're not in this alone. We're all tasked with this. You don't have to feel the entire burden by yourself. I mean, Bate, well, how I was, you were the one to remind me that I wasn't alone.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe you should take the advice of the smartest, most wonderful person I know.
The difference is your city wasn't completely destroyed.
It might have been.
But it wasn't. Mine was.
No, it wasn't. But it doesn't mean that we can't stop it here and anywhere else.
It is what we're trying to do, and I just wish things would stop slowing us down.
We'll face it all together. I can't say that there won't be any more roadblocks. past them all, no matter what. Besides, you know how thick my head is. You could just use me as a battering ram. When this is all over, and Saran Diablos, we'll save them, and then we'll go back and we'll help your people. Rasu, the waters will recede, it can all be rebuilt, and if you want me there, I'll be there. Each step. Do you need a shoulder to cry on, or even if you just need to be alone sometimes, just tell me. I love you. I just want to help you, like you did me.
Right. I'm just still trying to figure out how you can.
One day at a time, huh?
Yeah. Let's go.
Alright.
All right. And with that, you make your way out of the mayor's office and start to make your way back towards the Little Wing. It's getting dark as you're stepping out, sun dipping towards the horizon. It was in the middle of the day when you arrived. You spent several hours shopping, so it's getting on towards the evening, and so as the sun is making its descent towards the horizon, I think that is as good a place as any to call it for the day.
Alright.
Indeed.
Because I
Indeed,
still have
we
some
know.
planning to do.
I bet you did.
Yeah. Like, I have some shit in place, yeah, but there's still some shit I need to get sorted out. I was kind of hoping that you wouldn't handle the Begamnon situation so well, so that you guys wouldn't get quite so far along so quickly. I was like, shit, I don't have shit ready.
Was it down to that
You-
dice roll?
So
Yeah,
you were wanting us to fight them.
I was kind of hoping, but I was just kind of leaving it up in the air because I knew I had enough prepared to, roll with it and improvise. But either way, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning in to this episode of Chronicles of Eno. We will see you next time. Until then, keep listening, people. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Damn it, the to be continued thing isn't playing. Oh well. Tough shit.